man, great interviews, man. Shout out to everybody who checked in for all three segments, man. You getting your interview chops up, man. That was
Right.
dope. Yeah. So, man, a lot in the news this past week, man. So,
Yeah.
Lil Wayne is selling his masters or sold his masters to Universal for $100 million. Like, what? Well, I mean, the way that it was found out was the fact that his lawyer is suing him. His
Hold on.
longtime, his
Mike, you want to know what? I don't even mean to cut you off. I
go
just
ahead.
started thinking about how Pusha T was talking on Exodus when you said all that. Go ahead.
Well, his attorney basically is suing him for monies not received, and his attorney put out there that Lil Wayne sold his catalog to Universal for $100 million. Now, I got a lot of questions here. First of all, do you think
Me
that was a
too.
good move? Huh?
First of all, it's never a good move to sell your shit to the white man. So that's no. So that's a no.
Well, I mean,
Go
this
ahead.
is the
What's your next
company
question?
that has been his. I
That's
mean,
what I mean. Don't they already own his shit anyway,
that's the part that was
technically?
confusing to me too.
That's why I'm confused as well because I mean, Cash Money's first distribution deal was $30 million with Universal.
He's
Universal's
been on
already.
Universal his whole life.
I mean, when they get that deal, that was '99, right? That was 21 years ago that Cash Money got a $30 million Universal distribution deal, correct?
I want to say
So
that was 98 because 400 Degrees
98.
was on
Okay.
that. Yeah,
400
yeah,
degrees is 98. You're right.
yeah. Yeah.
So when has Wayne ever left Cash Money?
Wayne has never left Universal. When has
So I mean,
Cash Money ever left Universal?
so is this like a services rendered check?
I don't understand it either.
I
Because
don't
I thought
understand
they
it either.
already owned his masters.
Hold on, and Mike, why would you sell it for $100 million?
Well, I mean, like Kanye said, man, if they offering $100 million, it's probably worth 500 or 600.
And actually, Mike, I think Master P was really the first one to break it down like that. If they tried to offer me like $1 million, that's how I knew I was worth at least 10.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, with Wayne, where he's at in his career, like you said, it might be some sort of retirement plan, but business wise, if you're
Mike,
fine and you know
hey,
that you're getting an offer like this, what's the rush?
hey, Mike, I'm gonna tell you something, and here's why I thought retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Wayne are the same age and born in the same month. I mean, in the past couple of years, I have started to think about how I'm going. Yeah, that shit real when you reach a certain age.
But
Me and him, me and
see, the
Fam,
thing
me
is
and Fam,
though,
me and Fam the same age. And what I'm saying is that when you get to our age and you've been living a certain type of way for a while, you start thinking about how you can ensure, how you can live that lifestyle. Because going back from it, especially when you come from the places that he come from, I come like,
listen, the
no,
elephant in the room
that shit is
is
terrifying.
listen,
That
the,
shit is
the elephant in the
terrifying.
room here, man, is the fact that Nicki and Drake should have been his retirement plan, and that's the thing.
Mike,
He
Exodus.
there's
That's why I keep Mike. That's why I thought of Exodus because I'm thinking like, damn, and like you had a retirement plan. Look at how many numbers Drake and Nicki have done. It's
yeah. No, 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 no. Let's be real. Drake and Nicki, they wouldn't be where they are without Wayne. They
period.
need. Well, you know what?
Unequivocally.
I'll say this. I'll go.
Unequivocally.
I'll go specifically. Drake wouldn't be where he is without Wayne. I think Nicki would have
Specifically,
actually
somebody
made
else.
it.
Hold on. Somebody else would have picked Nicki up, but Drake
Hmm.
unequivocally. Yes,
Drake
absolutely.
and
Hey,
Drake needed
hey,
Wayne. Drake needed Wayne like Eminem needed Dre, like 50 needed M, and
hey,
all
Mike.
of them show that respect to the people that put them on that platform. But for some reason, that same thing's not reciprocated with Drake and Wayne. Drake's the biggest
Hey,
star in the world. There's no
hey,
reason that Wayne should be out here selling his
hey.
catalog.
And let me give Wayne some flowers right quick, and these are personal flowers. This is actually, Mike. I sat in a limo with Wayne when Wayne was at his peak. My man actually saw him chilling downstairs somewhere when he had a show down here in Atlanta, and my fam told him about me, and like literally ran up and got my CD and grabbed me and was like, and I hopped in the limo with Wayne, and this is before Drake and Nicki. And I remember Wayne telling me, he was like, fam, he's like, I love your shit and you can spit. He was like, I got these artists in the pike right now. They about to be big. Like, they about to take over the rap game. That was like 6 or 7 months before I started hearing them. So he had some vision for them too. And that's the
Yeah.
part for me. That's the part for me on a personal level is sad because I can remember having a conversation with him, with me as an aspiring rap artist. sitting with him before a show, and he's cool as fuck, Mike, and him telling me about them, and then watching the shit come to fruition, just like Mike, it was one of those things. It's like, well, damn, family.
He made it happen.
Yeah, he made that shit happen.
I mean, at the end of the day, they
could
can say whatever they want about Wayne. Wayne was looking out for artists. And honestly,
that's what I'm saying. Like, he seen a vision. He had a vision for them, and he cultivated a vision. And when is another rapper that great produced talent that has exceeded the numbers? Because they've done better numbers than him, technically. I mean, it's not even a conversation MC wise, but.
Well, let me ask you this though, because I mean, Drake's huge, and just even a Drake feature can make any unknown artist, unknown song, whatever. Like, you look at, if you go on like Apple Music in particular and look up a certain artist, and if they ever were featured with Drake, that's like going to be one of their top songs in the search bar. So how big would it be if Drake were to just say, you know what, I know Wayne needs me right now, whatever. Why don't I do like a 10-track mixtape with Wayne? Just me and Wayne. Does he not owe that to Wayne at least?
Absolutely. I don't even have no smoke for you, Mike. It's like I was about to try
Why
to
doesn't that happen?
Like, no. You're right.
Why doesn't that happen? I mean, you would think that that's just, honestly, a week in the studio.
Mike, I don't have any clear-cut answers for you about that. That's a very good question. You caught me off guard a little bit, truthfully, with it. I really don't know a reason why that wouldn't come to fruition, except for maybe the fact that Drake's projects haven't been going so well or garnering the notoriety that they used to later either, and it's,
They still do numbers. They still do.
They don't do the numbers they used to do, and they haven't been as quality. And those of us who are heads have questioned the quality of the projects that other people say are quality. So, it's killer be killed out here, and, you got to save yourself. So it could just be a self-preservation tactic.
He wasn't even on the Carter 5, though. Kendrick was on the Carter 5.
Granted. I mean, sometimes it just falls like that. Sometimes it just falls like that. It does. Like Conway made Pray for Paris, but didn't make the other West Side projects. That's his brother. Like, it happens.
No, that's true. Brother. That's true. I mean,
brother.
But I mean, honestly, we don't see Drake and Wayne collaborations like that anymore. But and that's a whole nother subject. But at the end of the day,
are people asking for those collaborations like that?
I mean, whether people are asking for them or not, I think if it happened, I think it would be a big deal. I mean, I know, like, just operating the site, whenever there's Wayne news, especially if it's music involved, people gravitate to it like that. I mean, we were just interviewing Cobain, and he was saying that one of his biggest influences was Wayne. And Drake was in there, too. So, I mean, the fact that if those two guys came together and actually put something together, I mean, that's a powerhouse to a certain era of hip-hop.
Mike, actually, I do have some smoke for you, and I just thought about this. How much did Drake help Wayne that maybe we don't know about? I've told you that I think that the Carter 2 is Wayne's best album, in my opinion. I think the general public thinks it's the Carter 3. The Carter 3, to me, feels like a Drake and Wayne album. It feels like Drake's hooks.
Does it?
Wayne's bars. Yeah.
Okay.
That song with T-Pain, Mike, does that sound like Wayne to you, or does that sound like Drake? No, Mike, that's Drake.
So we're getting in the ghostwriting conversation. You think
I don't even know if it's a ghostwriting conversation, because it's just like you and me were talking behind the scenes about when you used to record with your crew and I used to record with mine, except for I had a whole crew and it was just you and one other person. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that when there are a lot of people in the room, sometimes the shit just goes down a certain way, especially when there's money on the table, Mike. When there's money on the table and somebody giving you some hot shit, it's like you taking it.
Now, we can say that about Drake. Drake is a hit maker, and the Carter 3 was his hits. Wayne's
hits, Mike. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you listen to the Carter 2, like the Carter 2 is on some rap shit.
Wait a minute. Let's rewind. Carter 3 was in 2008. Was Drake even around then? Was he around then? Do you believe?
I had sat in the limo either earlier that year, I believe, or the year before. Yeah, that nigga was around.
R.L. Walker says that may have been Quentin Miller's bars. Do you believe that Quentin Miller did some bar writing for Drake, like heavy bar. Like we heard the hooks, we heard some of the melodies or whatever, but you think that maybe he wrote some of the rhymes?
Es posible.
You know what? It's crazy because that's actually my personal favorite Drake project. I'm not a huge Drake fan like that. If you're reading this, it's too late. And Drake doesn't celebrate that project because of that whole.
You think that this is no that
I like that project. You know, 10 bands, running through the 6 of my woes. Like, you know, that project was hard. And Drake doesn't. He acts like that project didn't exist.
Mike, you want to know what? That's as close as he's gonna get to making shit for the heads. You're right.
Yeah, and then the fact that Meek Mill blew it all up with the whole Quentin Miller thing, he don't even celebrate this.
Take care and thank me later. You like that?
I mean, that for people who rock with Drake, they say that Take Care and Thank Me Later are the best too. But for me personally, I like If You're Reading This It's Too Late. Yep, Six God, Andre Shear. We got Andre Shear in the building. Shashir.
Oh, what up, Drake?
But yeah, that was my personal favorite. And then when the ghostwriting thing came out, I know even when we celebrated for his anniversary, it's like that dagger of ghostwriting comes back again. And even to the point where Quentin Miller even goes out there and says that, you know, this isn't it's a bittersweet time for him. Because that ruined his career.
It did, but also too, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, and you and I have talked about this. At least he paid the man.
Oh yeah.
I've had songs stolen from me. I've had songs stolen out of my camp by major artists. Like, so it's like he could have stole the shit, Mike, because niggas be out here doing that too.
No, they had a working relationship. Meek Mill blew it up. Like, no, they were cool. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting paid for services rendered.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that at least he did that. A lot of niggas don't even do that. They just hear your shit on the street and they just take your shit because they are who they are and you are who you are.
No, you're right. Drake tried to do it the right way. And
Drake right. I mean, all I'm saying is that even, how about this, Mike? In the hip hop rule book, technical foul on the play. But if you're gonna like commit a foul, at least fucking pay the man. So.
No, yeah. I mean, the whole thing was I'm sure there are other MCs in hip-hop that got ghostwriters, too.
There are multi-platinum artists who have went platinum multiple times that have stole records from independent and underground artists and never gave a fucking dime.
You want to hear one, actually? And I was going through, and not to put nobody on blast, but, you know, the truth is the truth.
Blast.
So, so for the people out there, Coop and I were putting together this yearbook, right, of what was happening in hip-hop. Yeah. And so in a lot of my research, going back, I went back to, I think it was earlier this year, Cardi B was bumping this independent artist. Got a name, I'm sorry. We weren't thinking about actually talking about this. It just came up. But, it was, how did it go? Anyway, it was like Bopping With My Bitches, that song. Anybody in the chat know what song I'm talking about, feel free to say it. But so Cardi B just discovered this artist who put out this song like 2 years ago, and it was dope. And it had that Boys in the Hood sample. So, yeah. And so when Cardi kind of made that song pop for a second, a couple months later, we hear Megan come out there with that same sample for the Girls in the Hood song. Now, I had even heard the song that, you know, the Bobbing With My Bitches song, and I had even forgotten. But just going back doing the research, I thought about it. I was like, dang, that's messed up. They could have at least put Old Girl on the song.
Or how about you just throw her about 50 racks, seeing how you probably gonna make a meal?
Maybe they did. Maybe that's why we didn't hear anything from the artist. But, yeah, I mean.
Mike, what Drake did is more arbitrary than regular.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I think that's why a lot of the artists really rock with Drake anyway, because they know that even when he jumps on their stuff, he takes care of them. You know what I'm saying? And he keeps good relationships when it comes to that.
And also, too, Drake is money in your pocket. I mean, you take somebody like Rick Ross, Mike, who has an excellent catalog, and hit-wise has like one of the best catalogs ever if we're talking hits. I mean, you pull him up on any media outlet, at least 2 of the songs that he's done with, you're going to see Maybach Music, number whatever, Aston Martin Music, and Dice Pineapples are going to come up. Like, period.
Right.
Period. Did he even play those in the verses? That shit's ridiculous.
I mean, he has a crazy catalog, man.
He didn't play Dice Pineapples or Aston Martin Music in the verses.
I mean, he has a crazy catalog. I mean, I don't even remember if he did, but I know he said he has a fresh 20 for whoever else. We can get to that in a second too. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was kind of messed up the fact that Meek Mill just basically messed up this man's career because he had to expose Drake's ghostwriter. And, you know, Quentin and Drake were doing business. Drake doesn't do business with Quentin anymore because that was put out there on Front Street. And I think that's messed up.
Mike, has he made anything that his core base is considered to be really dope since that relationship ended?
No. I mean, he's had nothing but a hard time in the music industry. Nobody wants to touch him because
of what happened. I'm talking about Drake.
Drake, you know what?
Since that relationship ended, what does Drake's catalog look like? Because my thing with, I think, like, Drake's last 3 projects, I've been like, something's missing.
Well, since that relationship's ended, we've had Hotline Bling and things like that, and Feeling Myself and stuff like that. Yeah. Anybody in the chat, what's come out since you're, if you're reading this, it's too late, that was really hot from Drake? Trying to think.
If we have to think about it, then we have a problem.
Right.
It's like it's that eye test thing, Mike. It's like, well, if I have to like start giving you numbers when you're watching them live, then we got a problem. It's like, you talking about his numbers, we watching them live?
R.L. Walker says Quentin retired. He lost his leg in a car accident, unfortunately. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. A lot of unfortunate things started happening after, you know, all of that was going on. And, you know, he did that Funk Flex freestyle that wasn't even really that dope, man.
He lost his leg?
He lost his leg. He got his leg amputated.
Hold on, Mike. Well, thank God he was accommodated for his services, because it's not like there's health plans rolling around in the music industry for rappers and singers and shit.
That's real. Oh, yeah, Andre said God's Plan. What did you think about God's Plan? Hot record? No?
I think God's Plan is glorious, but I ain't talking about the Drake record.
I'm talking about the Drake record. Yo, since
No. I'm talking about God is glorious, but the record is just like...
You know, I was going to ask you, man, because you mentioned Rick Ross. And Rick Ross has called out T.I. for verses. And...
Hold on, is this again?
And...
Didn't you say some shit before?
Yeah, and so, I mean, he hasn't said anything recently. I'm just saying.
I'm asking you, is this the second time he's saying some shit?
I think so.
He got to address this shit.
But why isn't he? Listen, who does T.I. want to do a versus with? He keeps talking about a versus, and when Busta called him out, he said that's generation gap. And when Jeezy tried to set it up, there was a last minute switch there. Rick Ross is calling him out. Honestly, man, to keep it real,
Mike, Tip got to take that smoke just because Ross already dropped off a 20-piece.
He said he got a fresh 20 for T.I., man. Why is T.I. ducking? It sounds like T.I.'s ducking. You don't think T.I.'s ducking? No?
You gotta take those dice and shake them, Mike. He done called you out twice, and he done already unloaded 20 songs.
I mean, even if it's close, and the fact that he already unloaded 20 songs, that's a bad look. Look, at the end of the day, we were just talking about eras, right? The only person for T.I. for real, is Wayne. And he don't want that. Clearly.
I don't know if Wayne, Mike, if you really want to know, I don't know if Wayne would want it with Ross.
Yeah. Ross got a lot. No. I mean, you know.
Mike, did he play Aston Martin Music or Dice Pineapples? If he didn't, it's about to be
He played one or the other. I don't think he played both. He played one or the other.
Did he play, Mike, did he play Hold Me Back?
I don't think he did.
I'm going to go pull his 20 back up, Mike, because I remember doing a 20 for the Ross versus Chainz that we did for Spotify. And, like, I think he played, like, 4 of my records, and I was like, whoa.
Well, shout out to Chainz for even doing it. Because for whatever reason, T.I.'s not doing it. And I don't know, man. I mean, who do you think that there
Mike.
is there anybody left? Is there anybody
Mike.
left?
If Ross has called him out for the second time, and Ross has already dropped off a 20-piece on chains, Tip need to be taking that action.
Now, why did Tip even call out 50 Cent in the first place? Because for me,
expeditiously.
And because, you know, I'm a T.I. fan from Atlanta,
No,
Georgia.
that's the same era. 50's the same era. That's
I feel
fair.
you, but at the end of the day, man, like,
You might
I
be
think,
cool.
listen,
Hold on,
I think
You
50,
might be-
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think 50 has a deep catalog personally because I follow music, but at the end of the day, we all know that people just know 50 for one or two albums. So why did you even call him out when you have such a deep catalog? That seems like, to me, easy pickings in a sense. At least aim high.
No, because they are around the same era, and 50 was the biggest artist and biggest selling artist, and so it does have some validity on that side of the Tip. And also too, you know, Tip reps the A, but he reps the South, and so maybe he would prefer to take on somebody from another coast than his own brethren that he's made a lot of records and money with.
We'll see. There's a catch-22 with that too, though.
Let me finish. You might look at it from a truly competitive standpoint, like that's a guy from my era, from another region that's not my brother the way Ross and Wayne is. Like, he has personal relationships with those guys that go deeper than rap, to quote Rick Ross.
To quote Rick Ross. See, this is the thing. I think that the catch-22 with that is, I feel you, and that's kind of what he said when he went to 50, because he wanted to take on somebody in New York. But the thing is, you have to solidify your King of the South crown too. And so if you go against somebody else that's here and they beat you, are you really King of the South?
Well, okay, so that's the problematic part about it for T.I. that I do understand, because it's like, so, you know, Ross is from Miami, but everybody know Ross live here.
Yeah.
And
in Holyfield's house.
In Holyfield's house.
Yeah.
It don't have the gold H's on it anymore like it did when we were kids, obviously, Mike.
Iconic.
Okay, so let me say it like this. Like, Rick Ross, we love Ross down here. He's been good for Atlanta. He's been good to the city. We've been good to him. Him and T.I. are the two biggest icons walking around the city regularly, along with Big Boy, right? But Big Boy is like on somewhere else, like, you know what I'm saying? So
Jeezy too, you know. But yeah, I feel you.
I don't know if Jeezy has aged as well as Tip and Ross. No. There's levels to this. I love Jeezy. There's levels to this, and I'm saying even now. Like, the stature now, Mike, like Tip and Ross's stature down here is still big now. Is Jeezy's stature down here still big? Gucci's stature down here still big? Like, Tip and Ross's stature down here is still big. And so the streets is going, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it's going to be Aggie, but there is some conflict of interest there a little bit with Ross being here and being so well.
T.I.'s got to go against somebody. Andre is saying Scarface. Are you saying you want to see Scarface and Tip?
No, don't do that to Tip. Face Mob.
I mean, you know, I think we were talking about Scarface on the last show, man. He just does things musically that nobody else can do. And
Face Mob.
Yeah, because if you play a mind playing tricks on me thing, like T.I. said, now that's when his nostalgia argument comes into play. There's nothing you got for that.
There's nothing he has for that, or Never Seen a Man Die. So that's all.
No, it's nothing. There's nothing he has for that.
Scarface is like his album says it is. He's an emeritus. You know what an emeritus is, right? That's
Educate the fans.
That's like past a professor. You know, you master craftsman.
But he King of the South, though.
Mike, number one. Number one, Face Mob.
Well, like Busta Rhymes told him. What Busta Rhymes tell him? Busta Rhymes was like, "You a king, I'm a god."
How about this? Face, more than any rapper that's ever lived, really is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Face Mob.
Well, speaking of which, Beanie Siegel just listed his top 5. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was Big J, Scarface. Oh, it was Big J,
Scarface,
Scarface,
Black Thought, and
Black
Young
Thought.
Chris.
That's the one. Black Thought and Young Chris.
Okay.
You know,
unpack that right quick.
well, you can unpack that. I mean, I got my thoughts on the Young Chris pick. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear yours.
I mean, first of all, Big is his idol.
Mm-hmm.
Jay is his mentor. Did you know Black Thought and Beanie Siegel used to be in a group together before the Roots came to be, Mike?
I never knew that. That's crazy. You're
I'm
educating
so
me right
happy
now.
that I was able to break that news and information. Tariq and Siegel used to be in a group together.
That's crazy.
Now, how about this, Mike? Can you imagine what a group with Black Thought and Beanie Siegel together would have sounded like coming out in the mid to late 90s?
I can't
Can you
imagine.
say crown?
Yeah.
So understand where. I just broke down. You know where that's coming from.
Right.
He's most like Face of any other rapper in terms of his ability to make.
We talked about that last week too, and it's funny that he said that. Yeah.
And he probably enjoys making music with Face the most. Every record they've made together has been a classic.
Listen, I would say that, like you said, Beanie Siegel, however people want to put it, he is the closest thing that we are going to have to a Scarface, just feel-wise, right? So that's why they sound so well together. And I think Tupac's right there, too, like, as far as, like, the feeling. But it's a little different intensity. I think Pac can do things that they can't do. But
Pac is more touching than they are. They still on their street shit all the time, even when they're being touching.
Definitely. So, yeah.
Right.
So, Scarface and Beanie Siegel are very, very similar in that way. So, I could see, I mean, you could tell that Beanie Siegel was hugely influenced by Scarface. And they sound so great together. And it's so crazy that when those three guys make songs together, when it's Jay, Siegel, and Face,
it's a rap.
It's just
It's a rap.
That's a trio. That's an unofficial trio that I wish we could have gotten an album from. And
you can't fuck with that. No, I don't, because if it wouldn't have been like an all-time classic, it would have just been disappointed to everybody.
But it would have been. But it would. I think there would have been no way. No, it wouldn't have been like The Firm. It wouldn't have been like The Firm. No. And they let Kanye produce it?
Dr. Dre and Nas in their prime, and they couldn't make a cohesive album. No.
I'm sorry. Foxy, Dre, AZ, and Nas are not Siegel, Face, Jay, and Kanye. I'm sorry. They're not. And those three records that those guys put together, This Can't Be Life. Go ahead.
Mike, let's back up. No. You're wrong, because obviously Nas and Jay are equal counterparts, and AZ is more than a worthy counterpoint for Siegel. It might be able to fade Siegel lyrically, actually. Doesn't have him delivery-wise, maybe, but lyrically can fade Siegel.
Oh, you said AZ or fade Siegel?
I mean,
I disagree with that. Wholeheartedly.
Mike, have you heard Do or Die, Mike?
I have. I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay. Siegel on The Becoming is on par with what AZ is lyrically on Do or Die, but just on par. And AZ's best verse is better than Beanie Siegel's best verse.
But Siegel got songs, man, and Siegel's battle tested too.
Actually, Mike, Do or Die might be better than any project Siegel has made too.
Siegel is battle tested as well. I don't know if Do or Die. I mean,
I'm not saying he's battle tested. I'm saying if you don't think AZ can spit right there with Siegel, Mike, you haven't been listening, because AZ can get on a record and boast on and outshine Nas, and has done it multiple times.
Well, Siegel's gotten on records and outshine Jay too. I mean, listen,
that's what I'm saying.
I think when you talk about the truth.
Oh, Mike, you think AZ's better? You think
I think Siegel's better than AZ. Yeah.
I would probably tell you Siegel is better than AZ, but Mike, it ain't by much. It's like,
Andre wants to know if we talked about, speaking of Nas, hold on, I'm going to go to the comments real quick. Andre's talking about, he wants to know if we talked about Nas, Crown, and Conway yet. And we haven't.
No,
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
it, though. We're about to get to it. Yeah, we are.
And Tony says AZ's vocab is ridiculous. Yes, you know,
that's what I'm trying.
realizing the life of yeah.
Like visualizing the realism of life and actuality. Fuck your personal status, depends on salary.
Yeah, fuck who's the baddest of person's status depends on salary. But my mentality is money orientated. It's beautiful.
To live the dream for pizza never made it this year. We was beginners in the hood's 5%ers, but something must have got in us because all of us turned to sinners. Some is resting in peace, some is sitting in San Quentin. Others, such as myself, is trying. No, Mike,
beautiful. Beautiful.
Spit with Siegel every day of the week and twice. So listen to what I'm saying. When you're talking about it's not equal, it's like if it's not equal, understand like Dre superior to Kanye. If you want to call Nas and Jay a wash, we can. You want to call Siegel and AZ a wash, we can. So it's really about face.
You said you said Dre is superior to Kanye in that way?
Yes.
I think that Kanye.
We having this conversation?
No. You know how I feel about Dr. Dre. I think Dr. Dre is the GOAT, right?
Okay. Well,
I will say this about Kanye. I think Kanye has shown over the years that he can pick up random talent and bring the best out of it. I think that what Kanye did with Common and B, and what Kanye did in his whole Blueprint input, what Kanye did with Daytona, I don't know if we've seen Dre do that with guys.
And Pusha T aren't random talents though.
But I'm saying you're right. But what we've seen Dre do with established talent, let me just say that. With established talent, Dre will go out there and make Nas Is Coming or The Firm. Or he'll go out there and get on Volume 3. No. What he did, he was on Kingdom Come, right? I think Dre is disappointing when he works with established acts. He does well with guys that he has to mold and create from the ground floor. And so that's why I say that Kanye would probably do a better job with these established artists than Dre did with The Firm. He doesn't do well with guys who already have their workflow. Dre wants to mold your workflow into what he does. I think that's why him and Pac didn't work too well together either.
I can totally see that. No, Mike, that makes sense, and you make some valid points. I'm just saying it might be a little closer than you think. And
I think on paper, yes, yeah.
And even with that being said, Dre is still a superior producer. Like all that stuff you said was cool. Dre's still superior. Like, and it's a gap. And here's what I mean: it's a gap. The greatest player of, like, if Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time, whoever you have at like 5 or 6, understand there's a gap, and that's somewhere where Kanye would probably follow as a producer. And if we're actually talking about working with like unrecognizable talent, DJ Premier is drastically better than both of them at that. Like drastically better. They're not even in Primo's league in terms of taking mid-level talent and making the shit sound great. They only work great with great talent, and that's why Primo is right there, like at number 2 somewhere for me, even though like I feel like there might be some better beat makers sometimes.
You know, I think that Dilla made some of the best tracks to rhyme on. You know, if we're talking about those things, I think.
Hold on, you think? How about this, Mike? You think Kanye makes better beats than Dilla?
I think Kanye produces better projects than all of the beat makers out there. I think that I don't think he does, and I don't think he actually makes better beats than Just Blaze either. You know, in their primes. But I think that if I had to put a project in the hands of somebody, I mean, it's got to be Ye. I mean, we talking about Electric Circus, Dilla, no disrespect, and I like Electric Circus, and we talking B, Kanye. So you know, it's just what it is.
Electric Circus is whack, Mike.
No, it's not. It's just not the album that y'all wanted to hear.
That is Nostradamus. It's like, why did you make that? Like, why did you make that? You should have just kept that, played that for your friends. They should have told you no. You should have went to the next project.
It was an attempt to be artistic, and I don't think that Common was ready for that step at that point. Yeah. I think Common's Nostradamus album is Universal Mind Control. Now, that shit's whack. That shit is trash.
No, I'm talking about no, because I say the Nostradamus because Electric Circus happened early enough in his career that he was able to overcome the misstep.
Right.
Like, what were you thinking though?
Yeah, because Stillmatic and B are comeback albums. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Those Mike, are there two better comeback albums than those albums?
I think you know what. Regardless of what Dr. Dre wants to say, 2001 is a comeback album. The Aftermath album actually happened. It did.
Mike.
It did.
If you make Mike, he made the Chronic and Doggy Style within like an 8 to 10 year span. He could have took 20 years off. It's not no.
No, I'm just saying the Aftermath album is his album.
And the Firm album is a little like gets trashed a little bit too much. He did some good work on there. Executive Decision, Phone Tap.
I'm not talking about that album. That album's straight, actually. I think it's just underwhelming. But
it's underwhelming, yes.
The Aftermath album actually happened. Been There, Done That was an actual single. It's actually in stores. People act like the Aftermath album didn't exist. The East Coast Killer, West Coast Killer, these songs actually came out.
I remember.
So, if we talk about comeback album, 2001 is definitely in the conversation.
Okay.
And The Dogfather is is the biggest sophomore slump in hip-hop history, possibly all of recording history that I can think of.
The Dogfather came to mind. I was thinking about Kane's second album too, but yeah. So hold on. Speaking of Kane, where are we going next to close this show? Are we going to Rakim Kane versus, or are we going to do this Conway Nas thing that I've been?
All right, let's talk about this Rakim Kane versus, and then we'll go to the Conway and Nas thing. I mean, it was just put out there that the Rakim Kane versus was going to happen, similar to that 3-6 and Bone thing. So
when did this happen too? Where the hell have I been?
This actually happened like in the summer. And so Rakim put it out there and Kane was like, cool, I'll do it. But for whatever reason, the Versus gods haven't co-signed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they don't think people want to see it. But I mean, this week we're getting Keisha Cole and Ashanti, but y'all sitting there letting.
Hey, come on back.
Yeah, the verses this week. What's today? The 11th. Tomorrow they're doing Keisha Cole and Ashanti, but we have yet to get the Rakim and Kane. I know we posted it on our Instagram, and Kwame, he commented on there and said it's not happening. So I guess, and he tours with Kane, so I'm sure he knows, but. Yeah, so I guess just like that Bone and 3-6, for whatever reason, Swiss and Timbaland say it's not happening. But, you know, when it was originally put out there, both of them said, cool, let's do it.
I don't appreciate them doing the gods like this. That's all I have to say.
I don't understand why it's not happening. People want to see this. Honestly...
Hold on, Mike, you want to know what? I want to say something right quick.
Go for it.
This is why I love LL Cool J for doing Rock the Bells Radio, because he's keeping the icons and legends alive and giving them the flowers that they deserve on a regular basis.
Right.
Apparently that super producers that come from this culture don't want to give these guys. They'd rather give it to Ashanti and Keisha Cole instead of the God and Kane.
I mean, let's look at the verses that we have seen.
Whatever they're smoking, can you ship it to Atlanta? We've all liked some. I heard they're about to legalize down here. We'd all like some of that bullshit they smoking. Like, that's some powerful shit.
Well, I mean, it sounds like more of a business thing. I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand how anyone doesn't think that Rakim and Kane are good business. If this is about
I think they were doing this for the culture, though.
Right. And
aren't
if this
is doing it for the culture,
and if this is
money?
If
aren't
this
they
is
aren't they both worth a couple $100 million?
You know, this is the sad part, man. If Jay and Nas were to have the same exchange on Instagram, they would jump on that immediately. And
Mike, if Jay and Nas were to say that they wanted to do it literally right now at 9:57 on Friday, we'd be watching it tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah, the internet will blow up, you know. And Kane and Rakim are the Jay and Nas of the 80s.
They are. Where did they? that's what I'm saying. It's like those dudes know where those guys got their style from.
Yeah.
That's part of what when Jay and Nas got into their thing, part of what got hip hop so excited is because we never got the Rakim Kane battle. And so for the old heads, Nas and Jay was getting their Rakim Kane battle too. The Brooklyn Player versus the Poet.
The fact that we're not getting this versus, and both of these guys, these icons, honestly, the first greatest rappers of all time, are getting ignored is disrespectful to the culture.
Mike, like people don't understand. There wasn't even a reason to have a greatest of MC of all time conversation, specifically until these four guys showed up.
Yeah.
KRS-One, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and Cool G Rap.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a point in having a conversation about who the greatest MC of all time was until these guys showed up.
Well, KRS went out there and challenged LL, and he got ignored. Busta Rhymes, KRS.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, talked about.
He got ignored.
He got some smoke because
he got ignored.
Most of LL's bangers are hits, like hits, like radio.
He got ignored. And, Busta Rhymes went out there challenging whoever. He got ignored. And it's like, how do you ignore, again, rewinding back, how do you ignore Rakim and Kane when they say they want to do a versus? Because you would not do the same thing to Jay and Nas.
Hold on. And you want to know what? And here's why I'm going to call foul. When Nas was doing his interview for King's Disease, first of all, Nas is with Swiss a lot because Benny was just doing an interview where he talking about he just met Nas through Swiss.
Right.
Swiss just introduced him. So you obviously have a direct line to Nas all the time. And Nas said during that interview that he did that Swiss asked him about doing the verses with Jay. So you can ask Nas to do the verses with Jay, but the guy. And also too, ain't that gonna put some change up in the God and Kane pocket too? It's like, that's what I mean too. It's like, Nas can still go out and make a mill or two. And I'm not talking about on none of that tech shit. That might be a little harder for Kane and Rakim to do, especially in a pandemic, because their money is mostly show money. Their money is show money now at this point.
Exactly.
Outside of what they've already saved, and I'm not saying it niggas is fucked up in the pocket, but I'm saying it's like, damn, Rakim and Kane don't deserve the verses. It's like
Kane tours heavily.
Mike, specifically, if Rakim and Kane don't come along, Biggie J and Nas don't come along.
Right.
So we talking about a big gap in our culture.
It's a respect thing too, and like you said, Kane tours heavily. I've seen Rakim twice over the past 3 years. Every time, and I wouldn't bought Rakim's book signing, all that stuff. So these guys are out there and expressing their legacy and all that. And the fact that we talk about these generation gaps, people could have been able to learn a lot from a Kane and Rakim's verses. And they went out there and they went in Magic City and had this big, grandioso display for Gucci and Jeezy and all that. That's cool. But y'all sat there and ignored the fact that Kane and Rakim wanted to do a versus. They could have done that from anywhere. It's not like you would have had to put up.
No,
come
Mike,
on, man.
Mike.
And this weekend we getting Ashanti and Keisha Cole. Come on, man.
They could have took that shit to the tunnel. You feel me? They could have took that shit to the Apollo.
Well, I hope Rakim and Kane do it themselves, man.
Ladies still standing. There's so many places they could have fucking took them to. Where did they used to do the Lyricist Lounge at? There's so many spots they could have.
The Apollo, man. That could have been wherever, man.
I would have loved to see that shit in the tunnel. And here's the thing too, they missed such a big teaching moment because so many of the Biggie J and Nas fans from our era don't understand where these niggas got their style from still.
Ben Hustlin asks who's going tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Ashanti and Keisha Cole. Tony says, the old fans really going to tune in? If you ain't a hip-hop head, you probably wouldn't watch it. But see, the thing is, with the whole versus thing, I think it is about the old heads anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, Mike. Who's more likely to sit down on a Saturday and Sunday night to watch some shit like this? A 40-year-old or a 20-year-old?
Exactly. Because you ain't seen no young artists do no verses. They had Gladys Knight in there, man. Come on. And Patti LaBelle. Come on, man.
I was just about to bring up Patty. Yep, you
Yeah,
already know, Mike.
yeah.
I mean, what? Hold
Even
on.
Teddy Riley and Babyface, they're from a
I'm
certain
about
era.
Mike.
Like, come on, man.
I mean, I think the biggest one was Jill and Erica, mid-40s.
No, late 40s.
Late 40s?
Maybe 50s. I think that Erica.
They're not that old, Mike. No, because you're going to start dating me when you do that. They're in their 40s, Mike. No.
I think Erica might be 50, man.
No, she not, Mike. Erica's like 46, 47. Maybe.
Nah, I think you're mistaken. But hey, you know, it's that range. But still, I mean, again, we're talking about Rakim and Kane, and I think that this could have been a great opportunity.
Hold on. I was bringing up Jill and Erica because same age bracket. What Jill and Erica are for their era of R&B and soul artists is what Rakim are for their era as rap artists. Like, those are the guys that you wanted to hear. Like, when you knew Erykah Badu was doing a versus, didn't you say in the back of my mind, I hope it's Jill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and even when people talk about the Jodeci thing, we know, okay, it's Boyz II Men on the other side. That's what you want. And nobody wants to see Rakim or Kane do any verses or whatever if it ain't with those two guys. You know what I mean? And
right. It's like you couldn't even give us like Rakim and Kool G Rap or Kane and KRS-One. It's like, no, we're not accepting that.
You couldn't even give us Nas and Jadakiss. If it's Nas, we just want to see Jay. I mean, it's just what it is. But like I said, the thing is, and even when we talk about T.I., there's nobody else out there for T.I. unless he wants to take on this Ross thing, or unless he pulls Wayne out. And
he needs to take it on. Oh my God, Mike, you're right. Erica's 49. Okay, all apologies.
And as far as T.I. though, man, he should have called out Luda too. Actually.
Hey, Mike.
That's what should have happened. What's
Mike,
up?
You're right. Erica's about to turn 50 soon. I'm sorry, I don't mean to blow up the spot. Erica's about to turn 50 soon, fam. You're right.
I mean, it is what it is. So she's in that Rakim Kane era, and yeah, man, there's no excuse for ignoring those guys, man. I think that was a slap in the face to them and the culture. Hopefully, maybe I don't know the whole story. Hopefully, it's something else going on. But
hey, Mike, can I offer you a segue? Let's talk about two guys who do respect the culture, and Conway and Nas.
Go for it, man. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that was like a super big moment. I want to tell you part of the reason why I love Conway so much as an artist and as an MC. It's not just aesthetically, he makes the style of music that I like. When you listen to him rap, Mike, you can tell that you're listening to a guy that cares about his place and his space in hip-hop culture, hip-hop histories, and what the greats before him, what they did and what they say, it matters to him.
Yeah.
And that part of the culture. First of all, there's a couple stunning things about it.
Okay.
I don't think people understand how big it is for the type of character he is to get Nas to call Noriega during your interview and you're not even want to talk to Noriega, who's been his man since even before they had deals.
Yeah.
Talking about some Nori, where's Conway?
Put Conway on the phone.
We got a guy who is in a conversation. You know, this is not my personal taste, but is always in the conversation for the greatest MC of all time. And he's calling Drink Champs not to talk to his homie Nori, but like, where's that nigga Conway at? And Mike, what I'm saying is there was a moment where if you watch the video where Nas looks at him and he points at him. And if you look at the look on Nas's face and you look on the look on Conway's face when Nas points at him and it's like, that was everything to Conway. That's a big part of what hip-hop is about that people are missing. That meant everything to that dude that Nas did it and did it that way and did it live in front of people. And Nas is a really smart dude. He did it like that on purpose to let these niggas know what time it is. Conway's that guy right now.
And he deserves that. And he is, you know, the type of year. Go ahead.
No more Benny album of the year talk. Right crew. No. All jokes aside, Mike. Right crew, wrong member.
Nah, man.
And Benny, how about this? And Benny may still get this moment. That's what's crazy. Benny may get this moment too.
He could.
Except for it might come from Jay because he signed to Rock Nation. Like
he might get one of those last Rock Chains presentations like Meek Mill,
right.
Fabulous, Khaled.
Mike, Illmatic came out in 1994, so Nas has been technically a solo artist for 26 years.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him pop up and give somebody flowers like that live?
No, it's
ever.
been no. I think
don't
that
do stuff like that. So you got to be doing special shit to get Nas to do special shit. That's what I've been trying to tell people. No. Conway isn't just the best MC this year. He's having one of those Nas or Biggie type of MC runs. Those ain't regular MC runs. Those are the type of runs that get you in the conversation for greatest MC of all time. I did say that.
And the thing is, man.
Nas sees it. Method Man sees it. Raekwon sees it. Like, that shit, I ain't imagining that shit.
I think the thing is, man.
With all the legends.
We talked about it earlier earlier in the year, rather, when the Lox dropped their album, Living Off of Experience, man. And it was like, you could tell that Griselda is inspiring even guys that they were inspired by. And then the type of year in hip hop that we have in 2020, where it is the year of the underdog, and you got somebody like Conway, who I believe is MC of the year. I know you believe that too. He's setting the tone for the type of year that hip hop is having, and possibly the type of decade that we're gonna have in hip hop moving forward. And I think that a lot of the veterans have been reinvigorated by the type of music and the type of spitting that he's doing right now. And
they are.
And that's why they're expressing it. I mean, because they're listening to hip hop again like they were once listening to it as a fan. Because now is the first time where they're not asked to be so active. You know what I mean? Like, they're not asked to be so active because other guys got it. They could sit back and watch the game now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Mike.
Whoa. Andre says that Conway has From a King to a God Deluxe dropping next Friday.
He does.
I didn't know that.
The Lox just dropped a little mini short thing too, and it was like 5 tracks, and it was 4 new tracks, and Gave It To Him was on there too. Yeah, but you're right about Griselda reinvigorating a lot of those guys that they ended up idolizing, and specifically the Lox, because that's an upstate New York thing too. That's Yonkers to Buffalo. That's a shorter trip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And actually, and you've heard Benny was shouting out like Chic on the tracks like a couple years before, like they, so it's all there. 10 years from now, Mike, we're going to be ranking Conway's year, Mike, in terms of best years ever, as in Rakim 88, Nas 94, Pac 95, Biggie 97. I'm not fucking around. He's having one of those years. He ain't having no regular great MC year. He's having one of those all-time moments.
You know who had a great year recently, though? And not to cut you off, is our guy. Pusha T had an incredible 2018.
I was about to say the last person that even deserved to be mentioned was Pusha T 2018 for Daytona. So when I think about the last 15 years of hip-hop in terms of MCing, Pusha T in 2018 and Conway this year are coming to the first and foremost of my mind.
Yeah.
As of right now. And I'm sorry, and Kendrick in 2012 with Good Kid, Mad City.
Right. You know what? Kendrick had a pretty big 2017 too. Damn was all over the place. I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly, in my opinion, is my favorite album from him. But I think it went over a lot of people. It really wasn't. It wasn't really taken in as well as the other 2 efforts were. Yeah, but Damn was very. It really was highly regarded.
Damn was different in the sense that, I mean, part of having that moment is making people go wow. Mm-hmm. Damn didn't make people go wow because To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City was wow. When you listen to Daytona, you're like, wow. You listen From a King to a God, you're like, wow. You listen to Good Kid, Mad City, you're like, oh shit, wow. And so Damn doesn't have that effect, and that's part of that effect of having one of those all-time great MC years. It's not just even the quality of the product. It's saying and spitting that shit that people feel, but also spitting that shit that makes people go, like, damn, I don't think anybody can rhyme better than this guy right now.
And then we also got the story of Adidon in 2018 as well.
No. I'm talking about Pusha's guest verses that year too, Mike, because he did 18 wheeler on Plugs I Met that year too, or something around that time too. Yeah, so I mean, so he had work all over the board on top of Daytona. But, and I said this, I would probably, even though Pusha's my guy, and still probably prefer him slightly as an MC because of Hell Hath No Fury.
Right.
From a King to a God is a more impressive performance to me, strictly about the length, because he did what Pusha did. He just
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm not mad at that.
Then Mike, he did more guest appearance work too, Mike. I told just the guest appearances on Benny's album, Royce's album, on Armani's album. Like, you can go just through about 3 or 4 of his guest appearances. Like, yeah, he MC of the year, like on other people's shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was going on other people's shit is killing. He killed Juicy J shit. He killed the Static Select shit.
Yeah.
He killed T.I. shit, Mike. Who shit did he not kill?
No, you're right. And I'll take it a step further, and not to interrupt you, man. I'll take it a step further. Any publication or any network who is not recognizing Conway and acting like they're actually recognizing hip hop, you aren't in touch with anything that's going on. If Conway's not getting recognition from your publication, then you're not.
There is no reason for him not to win every MC accolade that there is to win this year. And that's in a year with stiff competition with the likes of Thought, Royce, Gibbs, Nas, Benny. Like, there are heavy hitters out there, and he is clearly, in my opinion,
the unanimous MVP.
He the MVP, Mike. And if these dudes, and if everybody else don't give him the MVP that we about to give him, I'm calling niggas out. Because here's what we have to understand about this too. We're in a very fortunate position as artists, and on our side as part of a media platform, we taking this shit back to the streets.
Yeah.
This is the perfect year to do it. And so everybody better give him his fucking flowers, or we gonna fucking come straighten that shit out too.
You know, those BET hip hop.
No. This shit was born in the streets, and we taking this shit back to the streets. And Conway's the guy to do it. MC of the year, he better be on everybody's shit.
Yeah, and shout out to Nas for actually going out there and verifying that even more. When you got like these platforms like a BET Hip Hop Awards, and you see the nominees, it's laughable, man. Like, take the hip hop out of the name of the awards. It's just what it is. Like, you guys are doing something else. You're totally not in tune with what's going on.
And hold on. And then of the crop of the guys that they do nominate, Mike, they don't give the award to the white guy then either.
And they'll nominate like everybody.
Mike, didn't they just snub the shit out of Lil Baby though?
They nominated all of the same people in every category. I hate when award shows do that.
They do that just about who they know is not going to show up. It's like, well, we would nominate them to care about us. They have to, hold on. They have a real problem because they have to format things like, does that artist care about us enough to come?
Yeah.
And the answer is no, because you don't care about them, motherfucker.
Well, see, I mean, like you said, they didn't give Lil Baby awards that he deserves. And Da Baby, who had a monster year, he didn't get. How do you get nominated 12 times and win nothing? Like, come on, man. Like, in any award platform, you got to win something. And then you got them speaking out like, you know what? We don't care about these awards. So now you got mainstream guys who are devaluing your award. Not to mention that the streets already don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on. First of all, even something you have to understand about these mainstream dudes, like Lil Baby, he from the suburbs, he from the streets.
Right.
He know what the niggas in his streets is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him, especially, when you're younger in the game too, he got to kind of let that slide off of his back, because the same way the success came for him real fast this year, like nigga got a GQ spread. Fuck a BET award. Nigga, I take a GQ spread over the BET award every day, twice on Sunday.
He's understanding his moment.
That GQ spread is forever, and that funky ass BET Awards.
And even and not even just with the BET Awards, like when the Grammys actually rolled out their nominees, it was a whole nother crop of artists that felt the same way. Now the Grammys tried to make their thing right with the rap album of the year, but other than that, it was.
You want to know what? But they did Lil Baby wrong when they did that because he checked every box that they traditionally check off and slot him in, and God damn it, and just about him, and I mean specifically about him, we need to put his ass in that category because he literally checks all of your boxes.
Your traditional boxes, because now it looks political.
Everyone. He checks every one of their boxes for what he needed to do to be nominated, and he didn't even get nominated. Flag on the play.
Yes. All right. So
even when they get it right, they get it wrong. They suck.
I mean, they're not in tune. That's all that is.
Rolling Stone is whack. Rolling Stone is whack. Mike, the Grammys is whack. BET Awards is whack. These niggas is whack.
I mean, I want to give everybody a tip out there. You know, if you really want to get some credibility, you're going to rally around what Conway's doing in this year and celebrate it. And if you don't, then, you know, it is what it is. So, Conway, MC of the Year, Pray for Paris, Album of the Year. That's what it's looking like. I think next week, or the next couple of weeks, we'll start doing rundowns, man. I know you sent me top 20 albums of the year, top 20 most slept on albums. And we'll start really wrapping this year up, man, and getting ready for a great 2021.
You know, everything is written down and finished on my end, Mike. I think I'm going to stick with my top 20 verses list based on our conversation.
Oh, yeah, top 20 verses as well, y'all.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, the only thing that's in flux now is the top 20 songs of the year. And I want to let the people that are watching us know, like, I listen to everything everybody says. So it's like when I put Ooh La La off Run the Jewels on my top 20 songs, cats were like, what about Walking in the Snow? And I thought the Walking in the Snow verse by Killer Mike was one of the best verses this year. That is going to be on the top 20 verses of the year. It's an easy top 20 verse. That was one of the easy choices. Yeah. And as I've listened to the record, the reason that the top 20 list is in flux is because I do listen to our audience. And so I'm really listening to Ooh La La versus Walking in the Snow. And I'm like, oh, well, damn, fam that said that may have a point. And so I just want our listeners to know that, like, you're actually being, like, considered,
of course,
taken into account in this process. Like, I'm not just, like, out here coming up with what's going on in my mind. I'm looking at what the streets is saying. I'm talking to my cats in different music circles on different coasts.
And that's what other publications don't do. And that's what they need to do to be, you know. Because at the end of the day, I mean, all of this stuff is opinion, right? And so if you want to get it right, or get it as right as possible, you got to listen to the people and you got to listen to the culture. And it can't just be one person sitting behind a desk saying, okay, this is the top 10 MCs. Go for it.
Right.
Without anybody's input.
Hold on. Hey, I wanted to say one thing about Boldy right quick.
Before
we go off, the album came out today. So, and this is what I mean when I say I pay attention to what our listeners are saying. Like, after these shows are over, Mike will tell you, like, I'll go spend 2 or 3 days in my free time going through comments, like, whatever, because, like, I'm serious. A lot of people have said things about Boldy. It's like, oh, y'all like Boldy. He got the slow flow. He's so late. First of all, Boldy put out 4 albums this year.
Yeah.
This is project number 4. Okay. One of the projects, A Price of Tea in China, is a great album. It's one of the few albums that were great this year. It's like almost all the albums this year, there was like a few classic albums, there was a couple great albums, then everything was really good. He made one of the few great albums this year. This album that he just released, Big Bad Boldy and the Versace tape, are both really good projects. The other one was a misfire, in my opinion. So that's 3 really good, like 4 out of 5 and above projects. Like, I would give...
That's crazy.
That's crazy, Mike.
Yeah.
And here's why. Boldy does something that a lot of you guys who have favorite rappers, like, he does some things that they can't do. And I'm going to tell you quite simply what it is. He consistently writes 316 bars, 224s, and a hook to go with it. So let me tell you all what that does in music. What a hook is supposed to do is draw you in, keep you listening to get to the next verse. Boldy is a good and consistent hook writer. As in, he formats the hook, his delivery is such. The words that he uses for his hooks are so interesting, it keeps your attention. Rappers take notes on the fundamentals and what it takes to make a good project. There's nothing on this project that really stood out. I'm sorry, real bad, Boldy. There's nothing in particular that really stood out too tough. Light Bill, 1,000 Pills with Stove God. Stove God's coming, Mike. Stove God's
coming.
Stove God's coming.
Yeah.
Goodfoot. It's only 10 tracks. It's 30 minutes, Mike. But there's no real missteps because Boldy doesn't make any real missteps as a writer. He's consistently writing good verses and good hooks as in consistently. So I'll take him over this guy that you think is a star, that we're going to pick up his 15-track album and hear 2 dope singles, 3 other dope songs, and then the rest is going to be kind of like, I hope I like the beat. Whereas with Boldy, he's consistently going to keep you entertained with his format, with his ability to rap, even when the subject matter gets a little redundant. Like that 1,000 Pill shit with Stove God, it's entertaining. Part of it is because of how he put the hook together. And when I listen to him, I'm like, oh, them hooks are so interestingly put together. That's why I love Surf and Turf and Pinto. Like the track Pinto, Mike, he talking about beans, he talking about serving ecstasy. He called the track Pinto. Like he thinking.
You know what?
Yeah.
I was doing so much today. I didn't get a chance to catch up on the Boldy. I'm gonna listen to it tonight, man.
Too.
Yeah.
I think it might end up being better than the Versace tape. I think the Versace tape might have more highlights like Maria and the Roxy Cotton joint with Westside, but I think this one is probably more consistent, and he's more consistent, like knocking it out.
Alchemist producer of the year?
Easy.
Okay. All right.
Because Hit Boy, Derringer, Weezy in there.
You know what? That's what we'll do next show. Next episode, barring no crazy album comes out like a J. Cole or something. What we'll do next episode, we'll just run down everything, man. We'll run down the superlatives of the year, or or at least part of it. Even if we don't have it all the way finished, but and just talk about it.
Don't we gotta leave? I'm about to say, don't we gotta leave the fans with something for when we actually put the yearbook out?
Yeah, definitely. And
we can start doing some superlatives.
Yeah.
You want to know what we should actually do these next 2 weeks, Mike? We should actually make these strictly fan interactive shows where we can actually gauge how our audience is really feeling about some of our takes on our superlatives. So maybe we
should have some people call in. Shit, we can get Andre to call in or something.
All that. Andre, what's his name? Jay?
Yeah. I think Jay missed us tonight. Yeah.
He might have. We missed last week. My bad. I'm sure Jay gonna pop up and check us. Like, one thing that I love about our followers too, Mike, is that our followers that don't catch us on Friday, they catch us on Saturday and Sunday, and I be seeing it because it's like when I'm getting done on Saturday with work, it's like I pull up and it's like, there go the rest of them, and then by Sunday it's like, and then there go the rest of them.
Yeah, they come in. I saw Jay out there defending. Jay was out there defending Imani Caesar in that post where we were saying that she could be the breakthrough artist of 2020, and people were like, "Who?" And he was going in.
Jay is going to be so happy because Armani's one of the people on my list that got a bump up when I went back and listened to the Liz. The Liz is better than a lot of heavy hitters projects.
The Liz is really good. The Liz is good. The Liz is one of those albums that I listened to and it was over before I knew it, and that's a good thing. I was like, oh, snap. Yeah.
That's exactly my feelings on it. It's like, that's sneaky good when I press play, and then it's like, oh, we done? Be like, oh, she fired. This album hard. Mike, I'm not going to tell you where I have them, but the Liz and Burden of Proof are super close on my list, and I just gave Benny the nod because he's a better MC.
Yeah.
And like, there's a couple small things like Conway's verse on War Paint and Gibbs' verse and hook on One Way Flight, but the beats and production and actual sequence of the Liz is better than Burden of Proof.
I thought so too. I like the feel of the Liz, honestly, and I think maybe because again I had such. Look, you know what? At the end of the day, hold on, not to cut you off. I didn't like the fact that Hit Boy did the whole Burden of Proof.
I didn't either. No. I mean, we're not even going to stress that because he still did a good job and he's probably runner-up for producer of the year. But what I will say is that although Burden of Proof is technically a better album than The Liz. When you play them both, you find yourself enjoying The Liz most. I put Benny ahead on that objective technicality part where it's like, well, no, the rhymes are there, the beats are there. He's a superior MC, and also, and here were some of the tiebreaker. Two of my favorite joints on Armani's got Benny on them. I love Drillorama. Drillorama and Ginger Rothstein are probably my personal favorites. Benny's on Drillorama.
Yeah. And they sound great together.
Not on Burden of Proof. Armani's not on Burden of Proof. Right.
So, yeah, they sound great together too. All right. Well, Andre said he's going to call in next week, so that'll be great. And we can get people's opinion.
We can probably try, like, if we can get Dre and Jay on the phone, they probably going to fade about 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah. We could just talk about 2020 because people know what they're talking about. So, yeah. Call in next week. We'll have the number up for you.
I gotta give everybody some flowers on this site one more time. So Matt, one half of the Yardies, which is a major production team based here in Atlanta. Matt hit me up to let me know how serious this shit was for us. He was like, "No, my nigga." He said, "Y'all got real fans." He was like, "Niggas was arguing with me after the show was done about this rap shit." He's like, "Y'all got the type of fans that don't play around, fam." So that's a major record label producer telling me that took the time to step in on our chat. That's like, and it's getting it in with our people. Like, this shit's so live, Mike.
Yeah, man, we appreciate y'all, man. It's just gonna grow even more and more, and I look forward to next week to really interact with everybody, so we can get everybody's, like, I guess, straight up opinions outside of just the chat. And I appreciate y'all staying in the chat for so long, because I know we can get all long-winded and sometimes go off subject and everything, but we here.
Hey, Mike, Matt from the Yardies, I'm going to go ahead and push Matt right quick. Call that plug you just made, fam. Made that shit happen. Make that shit happen with that plug you just made that you told me about, fam. Like, Matt just, I can't even say too much, Mike. Like, this music business shit is serious. I can't even tell you who my man's just linked up with. But I just, like, as soon as fam told me, I was like, call that nigga, like yesterday, like, do I need to suit up and motherfucking, like, be your manager? Do I need to be your driver? Like, yeah, like, I'll pull up with you about that shit in whatever capacity.
Okay, well, sounds like something big.
I want these rings for my team. I'll ask Scotty.